No matter how you see it, it's a landslide. 7 digits we be counting, my crew be moving mountains. Step up, nigga, it's a landslide. It's wrong to kill a man, but God got to understand that no matter how he see it, it's a landslide. And if he feels I'm a traitor, there will consequences later. Down in hell, repercussion for my homicide. I don't wanna be the hardest for what it's worth.
Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today we are looking at one from the house of Cacharel. This one is called Nemo. And before we get into this one, let's do what we do and let's talk about the house of Cacharel. This is a French house that does fashion, accessories, and fragrance. It was founded in the early 1960s by Jean Basquiat. And the name actually comes from the name for a small duck native to a particular region in France. The house really blew up in 1963 with these pink shirts that they would make that wound up on the cover of Elle magazine. They're best known for very youthful clothing, bright colors, and light clothing. In 1975, Cacharel commissioned L'Oreal to do a fragrance, and the fragrance, which I'm sure you've probably heard of, is called Année. And that one was launched in 1978. Since then, they have done about 50 fragrances. There are not too many I'm familiar with, and none were really on my radar until Mark started talking about Nemo as sort of this discontinued gem that he liked. And so I looked for it on eBay, finally found it for a price that I was okay with, and I got my 50 ml bottle for I think $50, and it was a total blind buy. I probably trust Mark Snows more than anyone else in the community, so it was a pretty easy decision for me. Nemo was made in 2000 by a perfumer named Jean-Pierre Bethard, and he's done his fair share of scents. I'm not familiar with most. A couple that he did that I do know, Touch for Men by Burberry, which I think is pretty good, Blue Jeans for Versace, which is not bad. And the notes on this one are nutmeg, lavender, betel nut, cardamom at the top, labdanum, carnation, jasmine, caraway, and geranium in the middle, leather, patchouli, cedar, and vanilla in the base. This one can still be found online. Going rate seems to be close to $100 these days. I don't currently have any plans to purchase any further fragrances from Cacharel as of making this video. Now, as far as your presentation goes, the box says Nemo, eau de toilette. On the bottom you have your information, barcode is on the side, back more information, and your bottle is really interesting. It's got this very weird shape to it, sort of looks like a bong. The depressor for the atomizer is metal, and when you push it, it sprays out like that. You get a nice spray, and the juice sits in there. You have your sticker on the bottom, and again, this is the 50 ml size. And this fragrance is excellent. Mark had this on one of his top, I think it was fall designer or fragrance list, and I see why. This one is unique and it's beautiful. It's hard to describe, so I'm going to do my best. I would say it has this candied wooden vibe to it. At the top, you're going to get leather, you're going to get some labdanum, you're definitely going to get a lot of nutmeg, and you're going to get cedar and vanilla. And I want to be clear in saying this is not a groundbreaking fragrance, but it's very solid. And it reminds me of another discontinued fragrance that I really like called By Man by Dolce & Gabbana. That one has a walnut note to it, and this for me has like a little bit of a nutty vibe to it as well. So maybe that's where it comes from. Like By Man is nutty and it has spice, and this has that spice as well. This one's really heavy on the nutmeg. But I think if you're trying to track this one down, or if you're wondering about it, you should focus on a mix of nutmeg, cardamom, leather, vanilla, and woods, and then think, is that something I'm interested in? there's also definitely, I mean, the vanilla is definitely, I don't want to say it's prominent, but it's there. So is the pepper and the caraway. But really, to me, it's like woods, it's vanilla, and it's a lot of spices and some cedar and leather. It dries down into a nutty, sweet, spicy, woody fragrance. Guys, I'm sorry, but for me, there isn't a ton of reference to this one. It even though it's not unique, it kind of is in its own space. It's very unique for a designer fragrance, but in essence, it's an Oriental woody fragrance, and that's what it smells like. That's really the best I could give it to you. I'll also tell you that performance is good. It's not great, but it's good. Like on me, this is 8-hour juice. The project's okay. Not beast mode. It's not soft. It does the job. It does have some sillage to it, though that's on the softer side as well. And I would say this one is 100% unisex. I mean, if I had to say leans masculine or feminine, I would say leans masculine, but I would also say either sex could easily pull this one off. And I think you could rock this juice 3 seasons out of the year. Probably a little too heavy for summer, but perfect for the other 3. And in terms of where you would want to wear this, I would say it's got signature scent worthiness to it. You can pull this off anywhere, anytime, which certainly does add to its value. And if you're interested in it, that you should think about that as well, that it's very, very versatile. If you're not able to get this and you're looking for something similar, as I said, it's tough. Dolce & Gabbana by Man is close to me. Azzaro by Visit has that very sort of spicy, nutmeggy fragrance, but that one just has a lot of musk in it. Jungle by Kenzo, that one is a heavy nutmeg sort of woody fragrance. That's sort of close to this one. And then the other one I would say is not Eau de Bao, but the original Pour by L'Occitane is a sort of darker spice scent that also is a little bit reminiscent of this one. If someone were trying to talk you into purchasing this one, I think they would tell you that it's a great smell, it's a really cool bottle, and it's unique. On the flip side, I think someone would tell you that, is it worth you tracking it down or paying that discontinued price? It might not be a huge people pleaser, and the bottle is a little awkward. I'm not gonna front, on my shelf, it's kind of weird how it looks next to the other bottles. But guys, I'm very fucking concerned with aesthetic and dumb shit like that. So, as far as a rating goes, so being that this one is hard to find, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I don't wear this one enough, but this one really pushed all the right buttons with me. I love bottles, and I do appreciate the fact that they just did some other shit here. They took it totally left. I do appreciate that. I'd rather that than just another regular bottle, even if it does look fucked up on my shelf. I like that this one smells good. And, it actually makes sense the way it smells with the bottle looking the way it looks. It's given me a respect for Cacharel. Also, if you look hard enough, you can find this one without getting totally fucked on the price. So I would do that if you're interested in it. This is a good showing. It's a good scent. It's hard to find fault here. Is it totally unique? No, but for a designer scent, it's in its own space, and I, for one, am really happy to own this. I personally would seek it out if you even consider yourself somewhat of a collector. If I didn't have this, I would seek it out. And as I said, of course, with me, it is much more about just smelling good. It is about collecting. But I think if you're a collector, you can get this one, and if you should get this one. And if you're not, you still might want to take a look at it because it's a really nice scent. So, guys, I didn't do well on this review. I know that. If I'm reviewing myself, I'd probably give my ass 4 out of 10. But this one is not easy for me. Usually I can take a scent and I can really sort of liken it to something else and then sort of break down the way I think it smells that way. But this one is really hard for me because this one is even though, as I said, it's not something I've never smelled before, it's really hard to describe that. So I don't know why, but I would check this one out. I think Decant Shop has it, so if you want to get a sample, I'm pretty sure. I know that Adriana bought it from the same person that I did, so it might be pretty well priced too. I would give it a look if you're interested. So that is it, guys. That is this week's review. I'll see you next week with another review. You guys know what it is. My name is Maximilian.
Some are acting like they don't fucking bleed. From the east or the west, if I offend you, the fucking battle, nigga, we can make a pay-per-view. I fear no man who inhales oxygen, exhale dioxide.